Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, So Little Time, and my name is Karen. So I hope you all do really well, and thank you very much for joining me today. Today I'm going to be sharing with you a number of makes that I have made since the beginning of this year. It's not everything that I have made because I have done separate videos for some of the things that I've made specifically for, say, a challenge or a pattern test or a blog. So I will have already shared some of my makes that I've done this year already in separate videos. So if you haven't checked those out already, then please do so. But today I'm just going to be sharing with you some makes that I haven't shared. And the way I've done this video is I've done it in parts because I do find that my time is limited these days and I don't have a lot of time to sort of stand here and try on all my garments one by one in one sort of go. So I thought I'd do it in sort of short bursts as I've made the garments up and they're fresh off the sewing machine. So if I have been wearing them, then they're not going to look really warm by the time that you get to see them. So I think I've got about 5 makes maybe to share with you today. So the first make that I'm going to share with you is actually my last make that I've made. So this is one that I have literally just finished. I say just finished, I've still got to do one bit of sewing. So you may notice that I've got some pins in the straps here, and that's because I need to fix the straps into place because I've used the Prim sort of buckles and button snaps, but they don't grip the fabric very well unless it's like a thick rigid denim or anything like that. So I do need to fix the straps into place by sewing them. So that's what the pins are there for, because I just need to make sure I get the length right before I sew them into place. What I would like from you today actually is some honest feedback on this make, and it's because I'm not 100% sure how I feel about them. Now, this is a copycat version of a ready-to-wear pair of dungarees that I've already got, which I had for my birthday last year from Run and Fly, and I absolutely love them. The fit and style of them is just lovely, and I think they're really good quality. So I highly recommend those as a ready-to-wear pair. And then I had a go myself at making a copycat pair from them, which I did fairly successfully, and I've done a video all about that. So if you wanted to check that out on how I did it, I'll link a card up above for you. And I've been wearing that version so much, and I've since made another pair in a corduroy fabric, and again that's been in high rotation throughout the sort of autumn winter months. So yeah, I really do like those. Now I've made exactly the same pair, but I have made a slight change since copying that pattern, whereby I need to take them in down the side seams. So I do need to alter my pattern very slightly to reflect that. And I think I should have done that before making these up, because I don't think that the back pockets are in the right place now, because I literally measured down sort of from the waist seam and from the center seam of the bum area to get the pockets in the right place. But because I've taken it in now down the side seams, it's obviously made the pockets closer to the side seams. So I'll show you that. So that's going to be my first bit where I'd like your opinion. Should I take the pockets off and try and put them back on? Now, the only problem is that obviously these dungarees are all made up, so I don't know how easy that is going to be, or maybe they look okay and I can just leave them. So I just want your honest opinion on that. I've also put a patch on the center front of the bib pocket, and I do quite like how it looks. However, I don't know if it maybe is a little bit too childish for me. So let me know your honest opinion about that. Should I leave it on or should I take it off? And I absolutely love the colour of this fabric. It's gone really dark. I think we're going to have a thunderstorm, maybe. Yeah, I love the colour of this fabric, and this is a stretch cotton twill that I got out of a bag of fabric that my friend gave me for my fabric swap table down at my sewing Sewcial. So I took this out for myself, and I thought it would be the perfect combination for this dungaree pattern. But in hindsight, I think maybe it would have been better suited to maybe the Waves and Wild Heyday dungarees, which have got a bit of a looser fit. Yeah, I don't know, it's really comfy being made in this fabric, but I'm just not sure that maybe it doesn't quite go. I don't know, let me know what you think anyway. So I'm hoping you're going to be able to see now because it was beautifully sunny just a second ago. Anyway, I'll show you the patch first, so let me know what you think of that. So that's the rainbow patch. It is ironed on because it's got like adhesive on the back, and I have sewn it into place, but I can take that off fairly easily, I think. But again, it's not the end of the world. I do have some more fabric, so I can put another bib pocket on. And I don't know, maybe if I've placed that too low. Maybe I should have done it a little bit higher. I don't know, let me know what you think. Does it look too babyish? Should I leave it on? Should I take it off? The dungarees have these really lovely deep patch pockets on the front, which I absolutely love. It's really nice to have those, you know, it's really good to put your phone in and things like that. And with it being in this fabric, this style of dungaree, because they are a bit of a closer fit than say the Heydays, it's really comfortable. You know, you've got the stretch in this fabric, so bending down, sitting down is not a problem at all. They are like a full length dungaree, but I've got them rolled up twice at the moment because that looks quite nice with white trainers, but you know, I probably could wear them fully unrolled, which is absolutely fine. So yeah, the second thing is then the pocket situation on the back. So as you can see, they've got quite a nice pocket on the back, and I've put a little label on, which I think looks really cute. But as you can see, they're quite close to the side seam now, where I've actually taken these dungarees in. So I don't know if they need moving over slightly, so they're a little bit closer, sort of to the centre seam of the bum. So if I turn round, I'll see if I can show you that whether they're too far away from the centre. So the centre seam's there. So that is quite a distance, isn't it? I don't know whether I need to take them in, but obviously how difficult is that going to be to sew them on now that the dungarees are all sewn up? Yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you think, or do you think they look okay as they are? But yeah, overall, I really like this style of dungaree, obviously, but I would like to try the Helen's Closet, I think it's the Yanta overalls, because I think they're a pretty similar shape. So I think it would be better if I had a go at making those, and then the pockets would be in the right place and the fit would be 100% perfect, I think, because obviously it's been professionally done. But yeah, I mean, my other ones I wear all the time, so I haven't got an issue with them. They're absolutely fine. And the pockets are in the same place on my other ones, but I think it's just more noticeable on these because they're a lighter coloured fabric. So I don't know if them being in the wrong place is very flattering for my bum, because obviously I am a pear shape, so I'm a lot more bottom heavy. So yeah, I don't know if that's showing off my curvaceous area a bit too much. I don't know. Let me know what you think. But yeah, overall, I really like these dungarees. I think they're quite fun, you know, but yeah, should I take the patch off? What do you think? Or should I leave them on as a bit of fun? Let me know your thoughts. Anyway, so right, what I'm going to do now then is pass you on to me of the past, and I will share with you everything else that I've made that I haven't already shared on my channel, and I hope you enjoy watching. So I shall see you in a bit. Hi everyone, so this is Karen of the past, and I wanted to share with you my freshly sewn pyjamas before I get into bed and make them all wrinkly. So they are fresh off the sewing machine as we speak. Really pleased with how these have turned out actually, and they have been in the pipeline for a little while now. I've had this fabric for about 3 years, and I bought it from Poppy Bear Fabrics, who are still trading, so I will link their website in the description box below for you if you wanted to check out their fabrics that they have. Now, when I bought this about 3 years ago, I thought I was buying a cotton jersey fabric, but it's actually a lot lighter than a cotton jersey. I would say it's got some viscose content in it. I don't have the invoice anymore, so I can't tell you the 100% what the composition is, but it's definitely a lot drapier and thinner than a cotton jersey, which I think has probably played in my favour with respect to it being bedwear, so I won't get too hot in it, and it's very drapey and lightweight, so that's really nice. It was a little bit rolly to work with, where the ends kind of rolled a little bit, but that isn't too unusual. You can just spray starch that and iron that out if you find that a problem, but it sewed up really well, and I just used a combination of my sewing machine and overlocker to make my set. I have used 2 different patterns to make my set of pyjamas, and I have used a bit of a mix and match with fabrics as well, just purely because I didn't have quite enough to do it all in this fabric here. So the top then, I have used the Simple Sew pattern classic sweatshirt. I bought this again a number of years ago now when I think I was going to be making a variation of this instead of using the Linden sweatshirt. I do actually have the Linden sweatshirt pattern as well, but I've never actually made it before. I have it in PDF format, so I decided to go ahead with this one just purely because I was able to cut out the pattern straight from the packet, so I didn't want to stick the PDF together. As you can see on the front of the envelope here, it's got 2 length options. So you've got your standard sort of sweatshirt length, and then one that's a bit more of a tunic style, just covering your bum. It comes in sizes 8 to 20. and I have gone with a straight size 10 with no changes whatsoever. It has come out a little bit big in areas where I think I perhaps should have sized down to the size 8, because on the back as well I do find that I've got this excess here, if you can see, on the raglan. But because it's for bed, I'm not too fussed about that, and I have found that the body has turned out quite baggy as well. But I think that's a combination of maybe needing to size down slightly, or perhaps I should have used a bigger seam allowance, and also the fabric with it being quite lightweight as well, because obviously this is a sweatshirt pattern. You would technically use a sweatshirt in fabric. I think the fabric suggestions just says light to mid-weight stable knit fabrics such as a fleece lined jersey, so I've used a bit more of a viscose type jersey. And the sleeves, I've used the punter fabric, which was left over from my Colette Moneta dress, which I got the fabric from Felicity Fabrics, so that was just left over. So that is more of a tighter fabric in comparison to this, and a bit more of a heavier weight fabric as well, but it's worked quite well together. But like I say, you can see I have got a bit of excess around where the raglan sleeves are. It is a little bit more of a rounded raglan, I would say. It's not coming down here, but again, that could be that I just need to size down. I'm not sure. So I made the standard length, but when I made it, I didn't make any changes to it whatsoever, and it came up really, really long, to the point that I ended up chopping off the hemband completely. So I'd sewn the hemband on, tried it on, and it was coming down even lower than this one is showing. And I definitely cut the right view. I double checked, and I definitely cut it at the right hem line. But it was just strange that it ended up being so long on my body. You know, I'm not short. I'm not overly tall either. I'd say I'm sort of average height. But yeah, it was just strange that it came out more like this one. So if I was to have cut this one, I'm imagining that it would have been really, really long. Anyway, let me pan you down so you can see the length that I've made it at. So it's got a ribbing around the neckband, which I think I've just zigzagged into place. Or did I use my twin needle? I can't remember. Oh no, I have used my twin needle actually. So I used that ribbing. That was also from Poppy Bear Fabrics, and it's a really nice ribbing actually. It's got good recovery, which is lovely, and it was really easy to sew with as well. So I really like how the combination of colours have turned out. I think it complements it fairly well. Yeah, it was purely just because I didn't have enough fabric to do the sleeves, but I actually quite like the colour blocking aspect of it. So the waist line, as you can see, I have literally cut off the waistband. So the waistband, it came down to about here with the waistband on. So it was fairly a long top, and I just cut that off. And as you can see, I have used quite a deep hem. And I've just overlocked that and top stitched that into place, and I did just use a zigzag stitch for that. Now the top, like I say, it has turned out a little bit baggier than I thought it was going to, but I think that is perhaps because I haven't got the hemband on there to bring it in. But I think it's the back that I find the baggiest here. I just feel I've got quite a lot of excess there, and I suppose because it is supposed to be a sweatshirt, it is supposed to have that amount of ease in it, but because I've cut it off like a normal top, I think I would prefer it just to be brought in a little bit more where I've got this excess at the back, just to streamline it slightly, as you can see. So I may well just go down the side seams to bring it in just that little bit, because if I've got all that bagginess there, but I might not. Because it's for bed, it might just be nice to leave it like this, so that it's really comfy to sleep in. I just was worried that because it is quite lightweight, and with it being a bit baggy, that whilst I'm sleeping it might start twisting around me and getting a bit uncomfortable, but I'm just going to see how I go with that. So the second part of the pyjama set then, I have made the True Bias Hudson pants. So I've used a pink ribbon as my accent on the pocket detail here, and that was just some pink ribbon that I had left over from my previous True Bias Hudsons. And this jersey fabric with the viscose content in it has actually worked quite well, because I haven't lengthened these and they have turned out longer than my previous ones. So I've added the pink cuffing on the bottom as well. I've left my slippers on for you to give you the full effect of bed wear. Yeah, they do feel slightly longer than my previous pair, which I made out of a French terry fabric, and I feel that that comes up shorter. I think it's because it's not probably got as much stretch this way. But yeah, so they are really, really comfy. I've just used the same fabric for the waistband because I didn't have enough of the pink ribbing. What I do find with this ribbing though, this pink one, is that it stretches out. It doesn't have such good recovery as this one. So what I did for the ankle cuffs is that I used a larger seam allowance on that to bring it in. So it was a bit of a stretch to get it to fit around the bottom of the leg, but it just sits tighter to my ankle than my other ones do. They just tend to bag out. And because I find that they feel a little bit too short on me, I end up having to pull them down all the time, which is really quite annoying. But I think I've got you on a bit of a wonk. I'm not really sure there what's happening. But yeah, so I'm really pleased with how they have turned out. They're really, really comfortable. They're going to be perfect for bed. I literally just had the postman knock on the door whilst I was just about to start filming this, and I didn't feel too silly answering the door like this because I think they're quite a nice set. I know they are definitely pyjamas. I wouldn't go to the shop in these, but I don't mind answering the door in them, that's for sure. So with regards to this pattern then, will I make it again? Probably not, purely because I just want to have a pattern that I can just take out of the packet and sew it up as it is without having to make any alterations to it. So I feel like I should size down with this next time, unless I use a sweatshirt fabric, but obviously the length is just way too long. So I think I probably would like to try the Linden sweatshirt out, as I know a lot of people do get on really well with that. So I will just have to print it out and stick the PDF together unless I send it off for an A0 print. But yeah, I'm really pleased that I've got now a nice pyjama set for bed. For the winter time anyway. So yeah, it's really comfy actually, and I feel quite nice sitting on an evening in this watching the TV, you know, with Simon and stuff. But yeah, I think I just thought that this was a cotton jersey, so it just feels very, very lightweight actually. But yeah, really like them. Hope you like them too. I've made the size 10 for the True Bias Hudsons. Again, no changes have been made whatsoever to that. I think like I said, with my French terry version, they just come up a little bit shorter. So if I was to use a different type of fabric other than cotton jersey or this type of jersey, then I would perhaps add a little bit of length to them, maybe just by about an inch before adding the cuffs on, just to give me that little bit of extra leg length in case there's not as much sort of, I never remember what that stretch is called, you know, this stretch. It's probably, is it crossways? No, that's crossways, isn't it? Horizontal grain. Yeah, that stretch. Anyway, but yeah, really pleased with the colour combination as well. So that was just a happy accident. I literally just had to have a look through my stash what I could find. I had enough for the sleeves. So I had 2 meters of this fabric. So I've only managed to get the Hudsons and the front and back out of the classic sweatshirt. And I just used scraps of this to do the sleeves. I think I had about half a meter of this fabric, which came in a circle. So when I cut it, I did not have enough of this to do the hemband on the bottom of the jumper, or enough to add it onto the True Bias bottoms. So that's why I was lucky that I had that pink cuffing left over, so I could use that for the pocket accents and the cuffing on the bottom. So I just think the colour combination works quite well because you've got the pink and sort of the turquoise greens in here anyway. So yeah, so that's that. I hope you like them. Let me know if you have made anything similar, and I'll see you soon. Bye. Right, it's another one from the past, and I thought I'd just come on whilst it's freshly made to share with you my I Am Patterns Hathor Gilet, and I am just so in love with this make. And I have to thank Liz from The Baker That Sews, as she firstly made this version, and I watched it on her YouTube channel and just completely fell in love with her version. And she has used the same fabric as what I have used, but in a different colourway. She's made it in the pink version, and I'll insert a photo of what hers looked like. And I just really loved the style and the shape of this gilet, and thought I really need one for myself. So I went and found the fabric in the lilac colourway, and this was from Guthrie Ghani. I don't think they have this in stock anymore, unfortunately. It was at Christmas time when I got it, and my auntie bought it for me, so that was really nice. Yeah, and I have now finally got round to making it. I have to say, it was a really nice sew actually, and it's a fully lined gilet as well. So all of the raw edges are enclosed, which I really do like that kind of thing. And so again, I haven't had to touch my overlocker at all for this. It's just been completely made on my sewing machine. So that's perfect if you are somebody who doesn't have an overlocker. And I'll just quickly share with you what the pattern looks like. So it is a gilet pattern, and you do have quite a few sort of variations that you can make. So you've got the hooded version with patch pockets. You've got another hooded version which you can have with poppers down the front and some slanted style pockets. I can't remember what they're called now. It'll come back to me when I don't need to know. And then you can also make it without the hood, and you can have it with the popper fastening or the zip fastening. Welt pockets, that's what it is. Welt pockets, yeah. So yeah, three neckline options, because you've also got one with sort of a stand-up style collar there, and then it's got two fastenings, which are the poppers or the zip, and two pocket styles, so the patch pockets or sort of the welt style pockets. So I've opted to go with the hooded version with patch pockets and a zip closure, and I am really pleased with how this has turned out for me. The sizing that this comes in is from a size 34 through to a size 52. So that is a bust of 30 and something inches, I can't see it, it's too small, up to 44 and something inches, a waist of 22 and something up to 37, and hips of 33 to 47 and something. And then it does give you the finished garment measurements in the chart as well, and it also tells you what fabric, the amount of fabric that you need depending on what style that you're making, because obviously you will need more for the hooded version. So I went with the hooded version, and I ended up using 1.5 meters of fabric. I did have some left over, but that's what I needed to make this gilet. So the outer fabric then is this lovely quilted iridescent fabric. So it's a little bit of a rusty kind of noisy fabric, but I just really like this colourway. It's really quite nice for the springtime, so perfect for this time of year. And I've gone with a zip closure on mine. I just got this zip off Amazon, and I chose sort of a purpley kind of colour that I thought would coordinate quite well with this. And then for the lining fabric, I got this just recently from Susie at Thread Quarters, and she's based in Ireland. So I did have to wait a little while for it because it was during the Easter holidays as well. But I just thought, again, that coordinated really well with the outer fabric, and I just thought with the daisies on it, just is quite spring-like really. But yeah, absolutely love how this has turned out on me. So I went for the size 42. But I don't know, I was just debating really between the sizes, because I was thinking maybe I should make the size 40 because that fell with the correct bust measurement for me. But the waist and the hip was a lot smaller than what I am for the size 40. So I went with the size 42, and the finished garment measurements for that are a 41 and something inch bust, a 43 and something inch waist, hip, and then it just gives you the length of the garment. So it doesn't give you the finished waist measurement. The garment length is, I think it's 24 and something. I haven't got my glasses on, so I can't read that, it's too small. I'm now over 40, so I can't see things close up very well. Yeah, so I cut out the size 42 thinking I would give myself enough room to play with if I needed to take it in, but also I thought if it was sort of more on the generous side, then at least I could wear thicker layers underneath. So yeah, that's what I went with. So the 42 is the size that I made, and I did make a very small alteration to get it to fit me properly, and that is where you sew the armholes. The seam allowance for this is 3/8 of an inch, so I just used 5/8 of an inch for the armholes and down the side seams, just so that it fitted me a little bit better, because it did come up a little bit big on me. So it's a fully lined gilet as well. Let me pan you down so you can see. So it's fully lined, and the way that you attach that is that you kind of bag it out in a way, but you leave the bottom open so you can turn it through, and then you have to hand sew all along the bottom there. And you know, I'm not really keen on hand sewing, but it didn't actually take me too long to do that at all. But yeah, like I say, all the raw edges are enclosed, so I really do like that. And this zip went in perfectly. I think it's a 50cm zip that I bought, and I haven't changed the length of the gilet at all, so this is the length of it as standard. So it comes down to sort of mid-hip area. So I put the patch pockets on, but I decided to line them with the daisy fabric on the inside. So I haven't done it the way they instruct you to do it. I literally just bagged it out, turned it out the right way, and then folded over the top a little bit, and then top stitch that down into place, and then attach them onto the actual gilet itself. So I haven't actually followed the placement markings either. I just sort of pinned them on and then had a look and was like, yeah, I think that's sort of about right, and that feels right for me where I put my hands in. But yeah, so it's nicely lined. And then I was really pleased actually with the way that I managed to put the zip in, and I've got this lovely hem here as such, and I haven't had any problems with having that, you know, where it doesn't sit right. It is flush and is how it's supposed to sit, so I was really pleased with that. And I'm pleased I used the 5/8 of an inch seam allowance, because as you can see, if I'd have left it at 3/8, I think it would have been coming off my shoulders slightly, and there's loads of room there for me to still wear a jumper underneath. There's lots and lots of room. Now when I put the hood up, it does look quite funny, I have to say. It's quite a funny shaped hood because you've got the seam line down the back. So it kind of creates a, I'll show you, this lump like that. It's quite high, which is quite funny. So there's a massive sort of empty bit there, and I do have quite a small head. I mean, I've got my sunglasses on at the minute, but yeah, at least it covers you. So if you do get a little bit of a shower going on, that you're covered. But it is quite a funny shape, I think. I don't know if you can iron that out, I'm not really sure. But yeah, with regards to pressing this fabric, it was a little bit bouncy, obviously, so I just used a pressing cloth, so I didn't touch any of this with the iron whatsoever, because obviously it would have melted it. And I just used a pressing cloth on the other side of it, basically. I didn't put it anywhere near this, and it pressed absolutely fine. And then I did use 3/8 of an inch where it told me to, other than the armholes and the side seams. So yeah, I just used 5/8 for those extra bits that I needed to take in, and the rest of it I just did as per the instructions, and it worked out absolutely fine. So I'm just delighted with this, and I have been wearing it quite a bit since I've finished making it. I finished making it, I think it was Friday night, and we're now on Monday, so over the weekend I've literally been wearing it non-stop. So it's just been perfect for this weather. It's a nice little lightweight cover up, just whilst we're in spring. Is it still a bit of a nip in the air? And yeah, I just absolutely love it. I love the colour, I love the shape, I love the style of it, and the fact I can wear it with numerous different garments in my wardrobe. Today I've got it on with my dungarees, and I think it looks really nice with those as well. So yeah, just a really nice cover up, and I definitely will make this again. And it was a really pleasant sew, because the instructions by I Am Patterns were really good and really easy to follow, and there are diagrams throughout which help you through step by step. I can show you like this. So it's all just illustrations and diagrams, but yeah, it tells you how to do it per version, so it's really easy to follow. And I just thought that was really good, because it's actually the first I Am Patterns that I've ever made. So yeah, really like it. Right, so next up is my Tilly and the Buttons Indigo dress, and this is one of my favourite patterns to sew up. I just really like the design, and I love how it looks on my body shape, and I really enjoy the sew itself as well. But this particular version has been sat in my work in progress pile for 2 years, and it's just one of those things, isn't it? Sometimes when you have a bit of an issue, or you fall out of love with it and you put it to one side, you just end up forgetting about it. And I have been making a real effort to go through my work in progress pile this year, and I'm happy to say that this is the final make from that pile. So I'm really glad to have gotten to the bottom of it, and I'm delighted with this finished dress, and I'm so sad that I left it for that long, really. I think it was because I had quite an issue with gathering the skirt onto the bodice, and so I got cross with it and put it to one side, and then just didn't get round to sewing it, and just thought I wasn't going to actually end up liking the end result of it. But in actual fact, I am over the moon with how this looks. I ended up taking it to my sewing Sewcial last week and made the effort to get the skirt gathered onto the bodice, inserted the sleeves, and then hemmed it all. And when I got home and tried it on, I was actually very pleasantly surprised with how it looked, because in the past, when I've made my other indigos, I've found them quite oversized, and I've ended up adding waist ties into the side seams just to sort of cinch it in a little bit around my waist, because it is quite an oversized style dress. But with this version being a viscose, I haven't had to do that. It looks absolutely fine without cinching it in. It drapes beautifully sort of over my waist area, and I think it's because of this style of fabric that it just sort of glides over you and doesn't stick out too much, because I think my previous versions I've made out of a crepe fabric and then one out of a cotton gingham fabric, and they just have a little bit more structure to them, so they do hold the shape a little bit more away from your body, which was why I ended up adding waist ties. Yeah, but with this one I haven't had to, and I think it's going to be a really nice sort of airy, breezy dress for us leading into the summer, so that would be really nice to wear. And I adore this fabric actually, although viscose isn't my most favourite fabric to work with. I do think it's worked out really well with this dress, and I love this colour, you know, mustard. I really do like yellow, it's one of my favourite colours, and I put up a photo on my Instagram page today of this make, and I've had a lot of love about the dress and the colour and how it suits me, so that was really nice. And also today I went to a different supermarket that compared to where I usually go, because we've had one built more closer to my home, and I went back to the one that I used to go to, and the lady on the kiosk who served me, she actually remembered me from when I used to go in, and she knew about my dressmaking because we chatted before, and she actually said, "Oh, you're the lady who does her own dressmaking of clothes and things, aren't you?" And I said, "Yeah, well done, you know, for remembering." And she said, "Oh, I just could tell because you were in something really colourful and you've always came like to the shop nicely dressed." So I just thought that was really lovely. Yeah, so it was really nice to sort of have quite a lot of love for this dress, especially as it's been sat there in that pile for so long. Anyway, I shall show you the dress in more detail. So I've made a straight size 3, which is a size down from what I usually make for Tilly's patterns. But if it's like a jersey or an oversized type of garment, I usually do size down to the 3 because my body measurements put me in the size 4. With this version, I have just done the straight sleeves, and I've also just done the standard gathered waist, because on my other 2 versions I've done the exposed ruffle frill around the waistline, which I do really like, but I just thought for this version, being that it's viscose, it might have been a bit of a fiddle, so I left that off and just thought the simpler gathered waist would work better, and it has. So I'll pan you down so you can see. So it's got quite a high sort of waistline. It sits above my natural waist. My natural waist is here, and that is the desired effect. So I feel like the gathers have gone fairly well, considering I had an issue the first time around, and I love how it kind of, you know, floats and drapes over my body, which is really, really nice. And then the style of the bodice also dips down at the back slightly, so you'll see that it is slightly lower across the back compared to the front. So the skirt does dip slightly at the back as well. So like I say, I've got the straight sleeves. This fabric does crease a little, unfortunately, but I'm not going to let that worry me. So I'm just going to pan you down a bit more so you can see that the skirt is knee length, and I haven't changed the length of that, that's just where it falls on me as standard, and I am 5'5". But yeah, so it you know, it doesn't look too oversized. Like I say, I haven't had to sort of cinch it in any at all, and it just fits me really, really nicely. I'm really happy with how the fit is, and I've just got it on with some trainers today. I can't remember if I said I got this fabric from Felicity Fabrics, and I bought it at the time of when the Sew for Yellow for Endo challenge was going to be taking place, so there was a discount on it at the time. But yeah, unfortunately I didn't get round to doing it, and it's got these lovely little sort of white hearts all over it, which does look like dots, but they are very, very small little hearts. But yeah, absolutely love how this has turned out. It's going to get loads of wear during the summer anyway, that's for sure. Don't think it's going to be quite suitable for winter because it's very floaty and airy. So yeah, but really pleased, and I'm so glad that I finally got this finished. Right, for this part of the video, I'm crouching down so you can get Harry in on the video. Now, he's wearing a make that I've just made recently, and this is by Pattern Paper Scissors, and the lady from that company kindly gifted me the t-shirt pattern, and it's actually a pattern that comes with an applique pack, which I'm really excited to use, and I haven't got round to using that as yet, but that is in the pipeline for the next month or so. But Harry, bless him, has been going on and on at me about making this Peter Rabbit t-shirt for him for the longest time, and I've been a really bad mum and I haven't done it, have I? So I finally got round to doing it last night, and this fabric I bought from Helen from Stitch Rip Repeat. She had a D-stash ages and ages ago, and I finally sewn this up into the t-shirt that Harry wanted. So I thought I would use the t-shirt pattern that was provided to me by Pattern Paper Scissors. I think I got that the right way. I'm not sure. I'll put it on the screen anyway if I've got that wrong. Yeah, so it's the first time of me making this, and like I say, I do want to use the applique pack to make further versions. So Harry is actually 9.5, he'll be 10 in September. So we went with the size 9 to 10. And I have to say, it's come up a little big in the body, and the sleeves are just about right, but I would say that I don't think they're going to last all that long if he grows anymore. So get down a bit, you're off camera. So I just thought I'd tell you that, yeah, so this is the age 9 to 10. I do think the neckline is a little wide on him. So, you know, Harry is quite a slight child. So the thing is, if I'd have sized down, then it perhaps wouldn't have been long enough in the arms, but this is plenty long enough in the body. So if you just stand back a little bit, Harry, so we can see, it's plenty long enough in the body for him. But if he puts his arms out to the side, this is where I want to show you that it's quite roomy under his armpits here. I'll try not to tickle him. But yes, if you just put one of your arms out, just one, so you can see here, I've got, if you come in and stand a bit closer, there's quite a lot of excess here. His armpit is right up there. Come here. Yes, sorry. But yeah, it's quite roomy here. You know, there's quite a lot of excess there. If you stand in the middle of the camera, Harry, so people can see. But yes, and just down the sides as well, there's quite a lot of room for him. And I know it's not supposed to be a tight fitting tee, but I have to say I was a little bit disappointed with the fit. In the past, I have used the Lee t-shirt by Bobbins and Buttons for my boys, and I think I perhaps prefer that fit compared to this one. And unfortunately, it's just come up a little big in the body and around the neckline. And when he puts his arms out, as you can see, it's quite short in the sleeve area. So I don't think that's going to last all that long. So the fit isn't quite right for my boys with this t-shirt. So although I'm going to use the applique pack for my future t-shirts, I am going to use the Lee t-shirt by Bobbins and Buttons, as I've had a much better fit with that particular pattern. I didn't follow the instructions for this, because when I read through it, you actually insert the sleeves like in the round, whereas I like to insert them on the flat, and that is how I've done them. And he's gone. Oh no, he's coming back. With his Peter Rabbit, because I haven't quite finished with this fabric. He wants me to make a t-shirt for his Peter Rabbit. So they've got matching t-shirts, yes. So you are going to wear it though, aren't you? So yeah, that's good, you know. But for my experience over the pattern overall, yeah, I perhaps won't make the actual t-shirt again because it's just not quite the right fit. If Harry was a little bit thicker set, it probably would be okay, but because he's quite slight, and my other boys are as well, you know, they're quite slender in the body, it's just going to be too oversized, and there's just too much excess under the arms. So I will use the Lee t-shirt, yes. So like I was saying, with regards to the instructions, I didn't follow the instructions because they have you insert the sleeves differently, and I just followed how I usually do a jersey t-shirt by sewing the shoulders together first, then inserting the sleeves, and then doing the sleeves and side seams all in one go, because they have you do the shoulders and side seams first and then insert the sleeves that way, which I didn't want to do. So yeah, you know, so Harry's really pleased with it. I used a combination of sewing machine and overlocker to get it finished, and I've used my twin needle around the neckline and on the sleeve hems and at the bottom as well. So I've done a really nice finish on it. Yeah, it's just a little bit unfortunate that it has turned out a little big, but he's going to wear it, so you know, that's the main thing. Yes, and like I say, I will use the applique pack to make the t-shirts for my boys that I was supposed to have done for So Selfless April, but never mind, I didn't get a chance to finish or even start those. I had just a really busy April. And also the pattern itself, it does give you a colour block option as well, so you can have a different coloured bottom half, so you could mix and match your fabrics and stuff, which I really do like that idea. So I might steal that idea and use that on the Lee t-shirt just by adding a seam allowance. It's not really stealing, it's just, you know, using the idea. And also the pattern itself as well, it isn't like where you place the pattern piece on the fold of the fabric, it's just like you lay it on in one. So what I did was just folded that pattern piece completely in half and laid it on the fold of my fabric, because I just find that easier rather than doing it in a single layer. Yeah, so that's how I went around it. So that's the t-shirt, which, oh, it's called the Blake t-shirt, by the way. I don't think I mentioned that. So this is the Blake t-shirt, yeah. So what do you think, Harry? Are you happy?
Yeah.
Yeah. There we are. All right, see you later. Right, so that's everything that I've got to share with you today. I hope you have enjoyed seeing what I have made. Let me know if you've made any of these before, how you've got on with them, you know, what you think to them. I'd be interested to know. And yeah, just thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video today. I hope you have enjoyed it, and I shall see you again soon. Take care, everybody. Bye. So this is the